Red Zerg player.
Oh, we have Terran music. I'm sorry. I'm excited. I needed to interrupt.
I'm okay with it.
Good.
I do like some Terran music. I actually like a lot of the music in Heart of the Swarm. They have like a whole soundtrack they can listen to on YouTube, and I just played it while I was laddering one day. So cool.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the music coming out, because the Zerg music for this one, meh. The Protoss music's kind of meh.
I actually have the music Alf when I play. I just said Alf.
Off.
Am I
Did you go
German?
Canadian on me?
Wait, Canadians say
Yeah,
that? Really?
they have like a...
I would think they would say when...
They say A
it
and then say
oof.
O wrong.
Yeah, they say like,
not wrong,
like
but
out
weird.
and about and a coach.
A boat.
Actually, they don't call
A
couches coaches. They call them Chesterfields, apparently.
I'm always fascinated to listen to
In
Adam
Nova Scotia, at least.
because of his Canadian accent. He's always saying things like that. And I'm like, dude, what did you say? Oh, okay.
I actually never noticed that, which is weird, because I've talked with Mike a lot.
Adam easy, man. Top left corner, Symbol, Red Zerg player. Bottom right corner.
You know what? I have a lot of Canadian friends, though, so I guess I just don't notice it anymore.
Yeah, it just might be ingrained into your brain.
Who is his opponent, if I can speak?
Bomber.
Yeah!
Startail.
Bomber
Strong
man.
Terran player.
Heavy harass.
Everyone loves Bomber.
I made him a card. I didn't get to give it to him.
Why would you make someone a card? That's awkward. You just give him a card? What was the card? Tell me. No, I'm excited. I want to see. You just go to a player and give him a card?
Stop.
No.
It's back.
Let's back up. Well, no, I want to know what the card was. I just want to know.
It was just like a cheerful kind of card.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't like a thank you for being a good player or anything.
No,
or
I didn't make him a thank you card.
I thought you went to Hallmark and like bought him a card like I love you as a player. Here you are.
No, I would have done that though for Nesty.
See, that's okay though.
Because Nesty.
It's Nesty. He'll appreciate it. Bomber just like, what is this? Are you ready for bombing? And he throws it on the ground. And he throws it on the ground.
Are you ready to be bombed?
Exactly. Command center on the way. Racks follow up as well.
Yep.
Nice little opening here from Bomber. He walls off very quickly. But the only side effect of this is it allows Symbol to see exactly what he's doing. So Symbol has the opportunity to A, go for a really strong all-in, or B, get a third expansion up.
So, Tim, what are your thoughts on people that wear very brightly colored shoes, like pink or neon green or bright yellow, or as you like to say, amarillo?
That's Spanish. I'm learning Spanish, by the way. This morning, Andrew talked to me in Spanish the whole way here, and I just didn't understand anything he said. I just said sí and no, and then no es justo, which means it's
Mi
not fair.
ropa is amarillo.
Mi
which
ropa.
it's not. It's completely charcoal.
I just say something.
I just use charcoal as
colored
a
shoes.
color.
I get. I don't know.
That's
I
embarrassing.
feel like it's attention needy. I don't know.
Yeah?
Like for me, shoes black, white, and then maybe brown. I don't know. I just don't really put too much thought into my shoes. But if you color them up, more power to you, I guess. If a girl's wearing like a really cool shoe that's colorful, then yeah, I'll look at it. Like it's a reason for me to look at you now.
Girl, you caught my eye with your bright colored shoes.
Yeah, there's the pickup line. Yo, your shoes are so bright. I had to look up after, or something stupid. I don't know. Something dumb. Anywho, factory follow-up right after we're here for Bomber. So it looks like we're Rex into delayed reactor Hellion, but still very strong.
I gotta remember that one. All right, so Symbol and Bomber, guys. Things are obviously very standard here in the early game. This is a tough one to call.
No gas taken yet for Symbol, though, so he's got to be getting that third pretty soon. You don't want to get it early like against Protoss. You want to get it after you get your double queen out, but you get that third out. That way you have the creep spread, and you can still maneuver your queens.
No, totally. Before 6 minutes is really, really standard now with the 4-queen build. He could go for the 6-queen build. Actually, Symbol is a player who does do that from time to time, but I just don't expect it on Ohana at all. It's not a map where you're going to have a hard time spreading creep, so there's not too much of a reason to get the 6 queens, unless you know your opponent is going for like a Hellion Banshee play, which actually looks like maybe what we're seeing here out of Bomber, who is going to try to be establishing that map control nice and early.
I really like Bomber's 1-2 base plays. He has a lot where he delays a ton of his upgrades, and he goes for really strong attacks and try and cripple you, and then follow up into his upgrades, get a third, and just move up really heavily. He takes a big advantage.
It's actually a great summary of his play style, yeah.
It's one of the things that he loves to do. I remember at IPL6, there was a build that I was watching. We had the Zerg go for double Evo Chamber and 2 ton of queens, and he just went like massive Marine Marauder with Hellion sprinkles, and it was so good at killing that pure greedy play that was happening so much at IPL5, and I was so impressed. And as soon as I saw, I believe it was a Reactor Factory, fall into like 3 racks, I was like, oh, he wins. Nice Scout Hill here for the Overlord. He sees something under research.
Yeah, we have Caduceus Reactor being researched right now, and this is awesome.
I think he may have been a little bit too quick there. After the Overlord dies, there's a couple of seconds where you still see a little bit. Not a couple of seconds, but it's still a little bit of vision, and he canceled it right when he killed the Overlord. There could have been an opportunity there for Symbol to actually see that. Let's see if he follows up into Spore Callers. And then, of course, does he have the lair going on the way yet?
And that was wicked cool, though.
Yeah.
You very often see Caduceus Reactor researched against Terrans, you know, at appropriate scan timings. In this situation, though, that was pretty awesome, man. Out of Bomber.
And he follows up straight into a stim.
Yep.
So you prepare for Cloaked Banshees, you get really heavy on your Spore Callers, really heavy on your Queens, and suddenly you have Stim Marines running at you, and they do a lot of DPS and can actually kill Queens pretty quickly.
Yep.
So, Roach Aggression on the way for Symbol. This is a good way to handle Banshee, is you just build a few Roaches and then go attack into your opponent, and that prevents them from coming across the middle of the map and doing too much damage to you while you just back her up at home and get Spore Crawlers up. So
1, 2, 3 Spore Crawlers, in fact. That's 150 resources and 3 drones thrown away. Now, there's only a couple Marines here in order to deal with these Roaches, and this bunker is not going to be able to be finished. Roaches will take some time, however. Take shots at it, cancels.
Tanks out, though. A little bit harder for Symbol to push into that. Go into Supply Depot and back out. And
he actually can't push anymore. If he tries to rush into the tank, the Marines can come out of this bunker and support the tank. The tank can be microed back, and Symbol will just lose these Roaches. So if he decides to go for this attack, he expects Bomber to make a mistake. And he's trying to go for it. Marines are now out of the bunker, and this is where the Roaches are going to die. The tank's going to live. And, I mean, Symbol just took quite a bit of damage there, and really, he did kill a couple of workers, though, I think. He got 3, so overall not a horrendous trade by any means. But
oh, wow. Did Bomber not even make a Banshee? Was I going on that whole spiel, and he just did that whole entire thing to just fake out that he was going for Banshee play? Oh, my gosh, I'm so dumb. He didn't even make a Banshee whatsoever during the whole entire... Okay, so, yeah, you're right. He is so darn smart. That was really clever. I thought he was just faking it and then coming in without Cloak. But, yeah, he just went ahead and canceled that, moved on to Tech Lab, and moved into Medevac transition. Smart play.
And, you know, because of that quick tank, Symbol's definitely perplexed at this point. He's like, Banshees haven't arrived. You siege tanks out already? I thought you were going for Cloak Banshee. How do you have this much gas? So, I mean, Symbol hasn't bit the bait too hard. Some players here would be like, oh, you're going mech, because that's the only way you would have that much gas. But Symbol does realize, you know, he's continuing to go for the ground upgrades. He's moving for Spire, centrifugal hooks. These are things you do versus Marine tank. Roaches are poking back down right now. Trying to pick off that bunker.
Bomber playing this very well, moving into his third very quickly, gearing up to do his drops, his mid-game aggression that he loves to hit. Notice how all of his upgrades are on the way. Look at that production tab, just moving up. +1 armor, +1 infantry, combat shields on the way. They should be hitting right when this drop does come, but it is spotted by Symbol.
Yes, it is. Down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. It will be working its way towards the main base, but you can see the Spore Crawler already relocating itself from the natural expansion. Real intelligent there out of Symbol.
Symbol showing why he's just a top-class Zerg. After he does land as well in the bottom left, moving up to that 4th, would like to see a 5th down in the bottom right corner. He's pretty well defended against this drop. Link will deal with it quite nicely. Queen trying to get rid of the medevac.
Ooh. But he goes and takes this 4th base. It's going to be a little difficult to hold. His Zerglings are going to have to come around. Actually, with Stim, he is... Oh, you know what? There are Zerglings making their way across as quickly as they can, but with these reinforcements, he could definitely end up still losing this hatchery. He's going to need to send a little bit more than that.
Bomber going to go ahead and pick up his Marines and run away. Roaches try to engage these Marines right away, but at this point, when the upgrades actually hit, Marines just do so much damage to Roaches that they just die so darn quickly. The only player I can see pull off Roach is Stefano for some reason in this matchup. Going to go ahead and deal with the Lings right away, kill off the drone. Hatchery has been denied, and Bomber will be retreating for a bit.
Yeah, overall, Bomber just reading that really well, realizing that Symbol did not have enough units in that position to hold it. He did overall, but he wanted to make sure that, you know, he didn't get dropped in his main, and it's just a little tough to be jumping back and forth so much. Meanwhile, though, there are 12 mutas getting ready to spawn here for Symbol. He's going to be able to pull off some harass of his own, but Bomber is still running rampant with these upgrades.
Moving up, 2-2 on the way. +1 flyer tech has been queued up for Symbol as well. Catching Marine or Lings here with these Marines. He's doing a good job of being all over the map, being active. But need to be careful now. Can't spread out too heavily, or mutas can potentially kill off some siege tanks or small groups of Marines. It gets a little bit on the dangerous side here, as the damage available for Symbol is really strong in the mid-game.
Symbol's coming forward now with the Mutalisk. He does luckily click them and pulls them back. Very good attention and detail there. If he had flown over those Marines, every single Muta would have died.
Yeah, I do that way too often in my games. Just right-click down to the third to harass, and there's a pack of Marines, and I lose them all, and it is quite painful. Hatchery in the top right corner, the fourth is getting attacked. Yeah, the Marines are getting killed off with the medevacs, but he trades the fourth in the top right corner. He actually got that force to cancel with a few Marines that popped up, so he's effectively keeping Symbol on 3 bases while he's on 3 bases. So,
yeah, doing a very good job of it. Symbol obviously wanted to take his fourth, well, many minutes ago as he was taking it in this position. Now is once again going to be relocating a drone over to here and trying to establish his hatchery. Marines with a little choke going on there.
All right, I would like Bomber to pull back for a little bit. His army here was a little bit stronger a good 30 seconds ago, but now Mutas are really starting to pop up, and a lot of Lings too. Here comes the Lings running straight on in. The Banelings are a little bit on the late side, but the Siege Tanks actually go burst themselves on top of the Lings, and they actually don't do any damage to Banelings, and now the Marines live.
But he killed every Siege Tank, so not too much of a loss for Symbol if he hadn't lost so many Banelings. He threw away a lot of gas. There were about 20 Banelings or so with that army. Here's another 21 Banelings currently being morphed in by Symbol. Bomber going to be moving up, trying to deny some of this creep. As we were talking about, creep's so easy to spread on Hana, and Bomber finally has to say no more.
One Muta does take some damage, but Symbol does have a nice army. If you can get a nice full-on engage and land some Banelings on the Marines, I feel really scared for Bomber overall. 2-2 has finished up, 3-3 on the way, and here comes the flank. Nice engage here from Symbol, coming from the left side with the Banelings. Are they going to connect? There's just so many Lings. A couple of Siege Tanks are left over to deal with them, but it's just not enough. Symbol brings just enough, and with the reinforcements, he can keep pushing.
Symbol is looking really strong right now, overrunning his opponent Bomber, but Bomber has started 3-3. So if he can stabilize here in the long run, he may have a chance here to get much better engagements versus Symbol. Supplies are still nearly tied, but Bomber's siege tank count is pretty low. It's only at 2. He's about to spawn 2 more. That's going to put him at 4. And the Muta count has been diminished to 5. This is really still a pretty close game.
Yeah, the 4th base finally on the way, just finishing up for Symbol. But again, it's so delayed, 16 minutes that we finally get that up, and that's really painful for him. His main natural and third are getting low on resources, and every trade that he does from here on off, especially with 3-3 about to hit, is not going to be cost efficient.
Yeah.
Bomber, again, just keeping that production up on his 3 bases and is getting a nice bio/siege tank ball.
I don't know about this from Symbol. He's trying to take the Ultra and Greater Spire at the same time. Does he have enough gas? Banelings are coming into, but the Marines can just simply lift into the medevacs because there's not enough Mutalisks in order to take them out, and that's so good for Bomber. He's going to be able to abuse these medevacs now because the Muta count is literally, well, okay, not literally. Grubby would hate me right now. Non-existent is what I was going to say, but there's 2.
Well, he did lose 3 siege tanks there for absolutely nothing. He got 1 shot off. It is nice to pick up with the Marines, but his firepower in terms of actual engagements with siege tanks, siege modes, is really diminished. You want to replenish, or not replenish, but retain these siege tanks as you're going through the game. He's losing 3 to 4 every time there's an engagement. Marines are nice, but they still need those siege tanks, especially when you get to Broodlord. Marine siege tank, if you only have a couple of them, they just don't scale well against Broodlord tech. They're hard to engage into. They don't do really enough damage for everlasting Broodlings, and the Marines can't ever really get through. So this is still a hard position for Bomber now.
Bomber does have so many Marines, though, and with 3-3 about to complete here in a moment, with 77 Marines, he's maxed out against only 170 supply for Symbol. Symbol's also trying to make Ultralisks, but Ultralisk, I mean, how do you feel, Robin? We've heard a lot of Zerg players say you make Ultras when you're pulling tons of money and need to dump it fast, but Symbol doesn't have a lot of money. He's actually pretty empty on bank, and if he loses this army, he may very well lose this game.
I don't know. I like Ultras with Infestors, but in Wings Liberty, I don't like them so much. They're way better in Heart of Swarm, but with Wings Liberty,
look at the depth of this army.
It's really strong. He's doing a good job controlling everything, though. He has small patches here and there, moving its way forward. Really great control here from Bomber, just showing off how well of a player he is. But Symbol does a lot of Lings and Banelings in the bottom left corner to come in for a flank. He does bring a few of his forces forward to deal with those Marines, but the flank here is really scary if it does happen.
How do you kill this? Bomber's army stretches the entire length from the base to base, but Banelings coming in, making nice contact right now with Marines, but there are tanks spread everywhere, and Symbol gets repelled by Bomber. Bomber going to be able to follow this up with continued reinforcements, can now move forward. He still has quite a set of squadrons of units.
So I want to see Bomber move forward after one of these huge engagements. After he kills off so many banelings, sees them do die off, and he kills off a decent amount of lings, and he needs to get a little more aggressive. He's pulling up again afterwards, and unfortunately, Symbol is just low on bases. So if he actually pushes in, there's no way that Symbol can reinforce really quickly. And finally, he's decided. He's pulled off all his STVs, getting aggressive, moving towards his opponent. He needs to make sure he's been keeping the control that he's had all game and not allow these Marines to be grouped up and get a huge baneling hit.
Yes, he does. Getting ready for the attack. Symbol is going to be moving in with the banelings. There are SCVs everywhere, and Bomber's expecting to run him over right now. Marines not taking the clutch amount of damage that Symbol needed to land, and I think Bomber may have done it. He isn't reinforcing with any units right now.
The Ultimates, though, are moving forward, and they're actually really tanky with those upgrades, but again, with the reinforcements, as you mentioned, they have to be pulled back. 3-3 upgrades are now on the way for Symbol, but the thing is, Bombers are already done. He just has an upgrade advantage, has been controlling his units better in terms of fights. Ultras are clunky, they're hard to control, and we just saw it witness there in the engagements. Bomber moving forward now, he does kill off the hatchery. He's going to the top right corner, just gotta be careful, don't let a Miracle Baneling hit, and Bomber should have this game secured.
All right, well, Bomber's going to try to pull it off now. The supplies are still equal, but remember, Symbol still lacking 3-3. Bomber possessing it for his Marine composition. Banelings are morphing in the top of the map, and it's pretty much, at this point, Ultralisk, Baneling, and 21 Zerglings. Here's our units, guys. 66 Marines, 7 tanks, 10 Medevacs.
Aggressive.
And I don't think Symbol has enough.
Ultralisk pop out right in front of those Marines, and here comes some Banelings. They do get some decent hits off. Gotta be careful, you are on creep. And he actually takes about half of those Marines away really quickly. Bomber needs to be more careful in the engagement, or it could be GG.
All right, Bomber is managing now to take out the beginnings of this hatchery. Very few Ultralisks and Banelings remain for Symbol. Simultaneously, Bomber's moving into the natural. He's gonna kill the evolution chamber that's researching the shield, the carapace, and Bomber is starting to pick apart the vital structures that Symbol needs in order to stage a victory here. And I think this might be the beginning of the end.
A nice Baneling hit there, though, but we do have Bomber pulling back. The Ultras are taking a lot of damage from these siege tanks. Lings come in from the side, though, and get a nice flank. The drone's been brought in as well. Has Symbol done it? There are the Ultras. They are doing a lot of damage still, even without the 3-3 upgrades, and it looks like he repels Bomber away.
He does, but more Marines and Medevacs tanks arriving for Bomber, and Symbol is just down to 2 Ultras, 1 Ultra, 3 Queens, a couple Zerglings and drones, and they are not going to be able to kill this quantity of Marines. Bomber with 100 supply, Symbol with 30. There it is. GG.
Wow, sick control from Bomber overall, guys. Really well done. The engagement was actually pretty fantastic in the middle of the map. You see when he brought the SCVs, he put them in hold position in little plots there, so the Ultras would lumber and get in the way, and they actually couldn't move forward to attack the main army. Nice control from Bomber, showing why he's a top-tier Terran player.
And Symbol was looking ahead through a good portion of that game, but once we saw Bomber start to pick off that 4th expansion, but then Symbol killed the Marines really cost-efficiently, and 2 Medevacs. Thought he may have had it, lost a lot of mutas, and then from there, it cascaded into a slow defeat. And that push from Bomber was incredible, where he had an army stretch from that expansion in the top left all the way down to his 3rd base.
Really great control, too. He would be moving that army together forward, and they always had to be small patches. You know how it is in StarCraft 2. Whenever you're moving forward, everything groups up so well, but he just had the conscious of mind to constantly be hitting hold position on his Marines and siege tanks as he moved up. Very well done. Game number 2 coming your way. Can Symbol come back, or is Bomber going to land a 2-0? This is the IPL Korean qualifiers.